Welcome back to the channel. I'm Lady Nika, and with this week's edition or this week's episode review of Greenleaf, season 3, episode 11. The end is near. If you watch Black Ink Crew, my review for that is up right now on the channel. Please go over and check that out if you have not already. Also, in that video, I did apologize that I'm not on camera. I expected to be on camera for these videos, but I had to come to work today, and the only way that I would have time to get this out to you guys is if I waited till tomorrow, and tomorrow is just, nah, I don't like doing reviews that late. Most of the time you've already heard from everybody else, and you might not want to come back and hear something more about the episode that you already saw. I like to do it within a time frame that's feasible for people to, hear what I have to say about it and whatnot. And Spreaker allows me to do that. So I apologize. Life is happening for me right now, so I'm on the go a lot. And I get the videos out to you guys the best way I can. Also, you may hear some thunder because we're having a thunderstorm right now. I waited a few minutes because at first it was coming down real bad and the thunder was rolling, honey. So I think it can calm down enough to where I can get through the review without you guys having to hear all that back noise of thunder and things like that. So let's go ahead on and jump into the review. Now, this episode was really good. For one, I told y'all last season, and I told y'all that toward the middle part of the first season, that Grace and her mama's beef was a beef because Grace represents something that Lady May don't want to admit to or face. She represents something from the past that she was running from. I said it a few times this season. It's a reason why that mama don't like her. It's a reason why there's always tension between the two of them. And I think we may be at the end of this right now. Because in this episode, remember last week, she finally went to see Lionel, who had been calling her. He was in hospice care and whatnot. And when she went to see him, he told her he wanted to talk about their daughter. I said it was Grace. I've been saying since season 1, Grace don't look like none of them. Where she get that from? She's extremely fair-skinned with good hair. And I know sometimes, things can skip generations and whatnot. But now I knew from the jump that Grace she's different from the rest of them. And I knew that it was a reason. Her mama knew why she give this girl so much problems, okay? Now, somebody had tried to tell me Charity. I said, Charity she fits. Jacob fits. That fair skin, good hair good don't fit. And again, it could be, it could have possibly been DNA because that can happen. I mean, generation skips and whatnot. But most of the time, it's not that. And child, it's clear to see that Gigi was the one that was kind of the odd man out. Okay? So, we open up the episode with Lady May and Maxine girl chatting as they're preparing to do this interview. And Lady May admits that it was a time right after she learned about James's affair with Mavis that she was going to leave him. But they ended up going on a couple's trip with Lionel and his wife. From that trip, Lady May got pregnant. She don't know if it's James or Lionel's because the time definitely matches up to the time she was with both of them. Now that Lionel is dying, she says he wants to tell the young lady who he thinks is his daughter that she is his daughter. And me and Mavis both looking at her like, girl, young, you talking about Grace? See, I didn't like the fact that she was referring to Grace as the young lady, like she has no ownership to this girl, like you didn't give birth to her. You're giving her pronouns and adjectives and everything else. Girl, you ain't giving her what you're supposed to. You had an affair briefly with Lionel because you were hurt behind what Bishop had done with your sister, and from your little tryst with Lionel, you got pregnant, and you were not able to say for sure whether or not that child was the child of your husband or your husband's best friend. And I was totally here for Mavis telling her the truth. May, you need to go and talk to that girl and tell her the truth. May don't want to do it, but Mavis that friend that tell you the truth even if you don't want to hear it, and it may come off as messy, but she being real with her when she say, May, secrets have no room in the company of a king. Now you saying that you a king's kid and you are one of his called people to preach his word. Your life ain't gonna get right till you get rid of all of the dirt that you've been hiding for years. You need to tell her. Now, Grace is over on the other side of town talking to her daddy, Bishop, and she brought all the tea, proving that Rochelle Crosscutter is the daughter of Darrell James and the stepdaughter of stepsisters. Let me get it right, because y'all will correct me in them comments. Let me say it again, girl. I want to make sure I get this part right for my love thing that had to correct me last week. Rochelle is the daughter of Darrell James, the man that burned up in the old church fire when Matt set the church on fire to get the insurance money because they were having financial issues in keeping up the church upkeep or whatnot. So she is the daughter of Darrell James and the stepsister to Basie Skanks. Grace had all her receipts, and Bishop still didn't want to believe the obvious. It don't matter. She allegedly helped y'all. She filed, and she has now been discovered. He don't want to accept it. As he having a problem accepting it, in comes the FBI seizing all files, computers, and etc. from every office in the church. They raided the church, and it don't stop their family. They also raided Triumph at the same time. Child, they told Carissa and them that they got a warrant to seize everything because they being investigated for all types of fraud, child. They asked if they had an accountant over at Triumph, and they said they do. Now, instead of her saying we had one for a couple minutes, but we just got this new guy, Joseph, and, letting them know that they have always been aware of what was going on financially with the church. And even telling them, could have told them, we just took over this church, but they didn't say all of that. Then, after they say they do have an accountant, Joseph comes through, and child, did he snitch or not? Child, you get to talk about, thank God they there. It's so much going on, and it's definitely not ethical or right. I was like, get him, girl, he ain't no help. Then back over to Lady May and Maxine, they interviewing about the event coming up. Her day with Lady May, she changes everything and all of that, and they asking, the interviewer is asking, will her daughter speak? And she said Charity would definitely be there. Maxine reminded her, Grace, you got another one. She said she's not certain if Grace will be there or not. And then she noticed Corinne over there trying to get her attention. Want her to come here. So, she grandstand a few more minutes, and then she goes over there to see what it is that Corinne wanted. And child, she learned that the FBI was there raiding everything. Charity come running up to her saying that they took her computer. She ain't got nothing backed up. Her music and everything is just, gone. Lady May is irritated at this point. She said to Charity, for once, can you not be the center of attention and help instead of help out in a stressful situation? And she walked off to leave Charity with her face to pick up off the floor. She walks up to Grace asking if this was her fault for sticking up for that woman that killed her husband. Grace said, no, this ain't got nothing to do with me. This is you and Daddy party. I ain't got nothing to do with that. Then she gonna stop the FBI agent and start trying to clear her name. She says she ain't got nothing to do with this. She and Bishop are divorced, and that man read that damn affidavit and said, you made Greenleaf? She said, yes. He said, well, your name on this warrant as well, so this involves you too as well, ma'am. Girl, you just divorced that man last week. Hell yeah, you involved, because you was dumb enough along with your husband to allow your pedophile brother to run y'all affairs. Then Bishop allowed this Jezebel heathen Rochelle Crosscutter to get into y'all financial affairs, and she got a vendetta because y'all, in her opinion, are the reason why her father's dead, because y'all burnt up that first church trying to get some damn insurance money. So yes, sweetie, you're involved, and you're involved deeply. Ain't no backpedaling pussy pop today, Lady May. Then she walked up to Bishop, who was on the phone. Oh, my God. Child, she go up talking about, I can't believe you got us involved in all this. Get off the phone. She getting verbal. She getting physical with the man and shit. She talking about how did he let this happen? He telling her he trying to make some calls and fix it. She says he ain't fixing nothing. Grace looking on, can't believe that they out here actually arguing loudly in public. She calling a friend that comes and talks to her along with Carissa and Jacob to try to end Bishop to explain what exactly the FBI is thinking. They think that Jacob opened an account and transferred the church money into that account. Jacob jumped to his own defense and said he never did no such thing. Bishop says Jacob just let the man speak, so Jacob hushes. Then he went on to say, and they think you, Bishop, withdrew that money from that account and used it to pay your IRS bill. At this point, now Bishop has jumped to defend himself, saying he never did such a thing. But see, Jacob ain't forgot what you just told him. So he told him, Daddy, just let him speak. I said, got him. Okay. The guy shows Bishop some accounts and asks if it was his. He said yes, but they my accounts, but he explained to the bishop, it looks like your account, but it's not your account. This is actually the account that Jacob opened. Then he said Rochelle Crosscutter had been his money manager and put money into these accounts and created a church cryptocurrency account and put an app on his phone where he could track it. They all realize it now. Daddy been bamboozled, hoodwinked, fooled, if you will, in this moment, okay? So now they trying to explain that he was indeed played. He tried to pull up the info from the apps that Rochelle had put on his phone, and child, he got a 404 error, user not found. He admitted that those accounts were there and that he could access this app. He could see it and trace his money and everything. What goes in the account, what comes out. The man told him, no, Bishop, it was a setup. The money was going from the church into the account set up by Jacob. And you was using that money to pay the IRS. So it looks like y'all embezzled money from the church. That's what the problem is. Bishop and Jacob now going at each other, talking about who was most dumb and who got played the most. And Carissa just not in the mood to hear that shit and told them y'all both got played. Jacob, you got played by Tasha, and Bishop, you got played by Rochelle. The man said that they going to have to simply just wait for the digital trail. It's always a digital trail, but right now, not a whole lot they can do about it. Then Darius comes to talk to Gigi. He want info for his paper. Remember, he a writer. She said, I thought that we had the understanding that you would never do a story on me. And he said, I'm not doing a story on you. I'm doing a story on your family. And I'm not the one that's going to actually be doing the doggone story. My editor is, and they just wanted me to let you know what was happening so that you can cooperate. Because whether you cooperate or not, the story will run. Now, on one hand, I was like, okay, he is giving her an opportunity to set the narrative of how this story is going to play out in the media, right? However, on the day, mere hours after her father's church has been seized, had information, computers and whatnot seized from their church, is not the time that I feel is appropriate for him to come over there telling her or asking her if she's willing to talk. Yeah, I get it. Let her tell her story first, and so we can kind of shape how this is viewed in the public side. But hours after it happened is not a good time. She's super upset. She told him the only thing she can say is that Tasha and Rochelle played her father and her brother, and she will figure it out. She gonna get to the bottom of that, and she walked away. Now, y'all know I don't trust Darius, so I'm not feeling him asking her that. Now, Charity is all in her feelings because of what Lady May said about her. So she gonna approach one of the FBI agents, Agent Dallas to be exact. She wanna talk to him and tell him her story. So he grant her wish and go into her office, and she starts off with this spiel about preachers' kids and how they can be a bit rebellious. And Then she says when she was a little younger, she realized she wanted to be at that point into acting, and she allowed this person to take some photos of her, some rather risque photos of her. And the person then tried to blackmail her, saying that they would release the photos. Well, her mom got hold to the photos and the info, and I guess she paid the person off because the shit went away quietly, okay? However, her mom still had on her computers those photos, and she's kind of scared of who may wind up seeing those photos because it's a bit risque, as I said, and quite embarrassing for her. So she wants him to just let her access her mama's computer for just a few minutes to get that off of there. Now, the officer, I didn't think he believed her, but what he did tell her was, I'll go talk to my supervisor and see if I can get him to allow you to do that. I'm like, I know damn well that he don't believe her because she could have picked a better lie. Well, later on, we find out he wasn't a dumbass I thought, because he brings the computer and says that as long as it doesn't have anything to do with the case, it's no problem. But he got to watch her remove what she's removing. And he also let her know, I know that you lied about the pictures. And she like, oh, you knew? He said, yeah. She wanted to get off her mama's PowerPoint presentation and the music and all of that so that her mama would not have to start all over in this short time trying to get her stuff back together for her event, A Day with Lady May. She changes everything. Then she, after she get the information, she takes the drive to her mom and tell her, as she put it on her desk in front of her, she said, see, mama, I am useful. And she walked out. So we over at Triumph Church, and Jacob is calling Tasha with Carissa sitting in the room to see if she would tell what all she did, because they still confused as to how did this happen. He said, I know you did it. I don't think you wanted to do it. I don't think you did it by yourself. I think you had help from Basie and Rochelle, but you did have me sign some papers. Let me help you. Come see us, and I won't press charges. Tasha, I just need you to tell me the truth at this time. Now, she's sitting at her house, and Basie's sitting right next to her, and Rochelle is sitting across from her. She on speakerphone. They can hear everything. Jacob, she listening to what Jacob's saying, but she's got this scared look on her face. You know, she don't know. All she can say is she don't know what he talking about. She ain't did nothing, and he needs to stop calling her. Now, Carissa mouths to Jacob, tell her you love her. You know he ain't want to do none of that, but you know that old strong face Carissa, when she speak, Jacob listen. So he ends up saying, Tasha, I love you. And baby, what did he say that for? She looked like she wanted to break down crying, and basically grabbed the phone and hung it up, mad as hell. Oh, Miss Cross could have sitting over across from them gonna look at him and say, I told you, and she got up and left. I said, oh, child. Then, let's go to Zora and Isaiah, because, child, she getting all cute dressed to go down to the studio with him, right? Her light bright, right? Okay. Well, child, he don't want her to go this time. He said she can chill at the crib and order some food. But she said she want to go. He said, well, you always seem so bored, so I didn't, you can sit this one out. She want to go anyway. She said she don't be bored, but he insisted that she stay, because he said it's going to be crowded today, and he going to reach in his wallet and pull out a bill and tell her go get her nails done or something. He going to order her to hand him a drink out of the damn fridge, and she did it. I'm like, is he handicapped? And girl, can't you tell when somebody is bamboozling you? Oh, she's so silly behind that young man, and he ain't nothing good for her, nothing at all. Sophia at home on social media, and she sees a video of this girl at the studio with Isaiah. Zora's like bright, all clinging to him and calling him her bae, and he right along with it, letting her sit on his lap. So Sophia say, you know what, I might not fool with you, Zora, no more, but girl, we still family, and I don't want you out here looking extra dumb as hell. You already look dumb as hell, but I don't want you looking extra. So she shoots that info on over to Sophia's phone, okay? Who this, girl? Who this? Zora is getting the tea as Isaiah coming home. Zora confronts him and asks, who is this, and is this why I couldn't come to the studio? He said it's nothing. He had a little event It was fans there, and he knew she would be uncomfortable and hot, so that's why he left her there. Zara asked, who is she? Are we still together or not? What's going on here? He said they still together. She his number one, and he loves her. Old girl is just a rat, and he don't want her. He want Zora. While he kissing on her, playing into all of her emotions, telling her what she want to hear. And you know she went off and laid up with that dude. She just is ignorant. Rochelle gets confronted by Grace as she's about to go into her office. She said, I know who you are and what you did. Rochelle playing her role, baby. She acting baffled as hell. Grace said, aren't you Basie Skank's half sister? She said, yes, but is that a crime? Grace said, you came here to seduce my father and I know what you up to. The FBI and the IRS is on them, and she looked at Grace and said, your father and I confessed our love for one another last night as I lay in his bed. Now, I don't know if it will lead to marriage, but if it does, I know I can't be a mother to you, but I can be a good sister if you let me, and stop with all of this accusing me of doing stuff that I'm simply not. She said they're all innocent looking, and for a minute y'all had me checking myself like I was trying to make sure I seen what I actually seen. Now you know you act good when you can make a person believe that they ain't see what they see, what they saw. Girl, that's something else. Anyway, Deacon Connie Sykes comes to see Bishop. She wants him to step down as bishop. He said, no, he's never been a part of a denomination. They independent, and with May leaving, the church needs a strong leadership and stability. She said they meet anyway and will probably vote him out. She just wanted to give him a chance to resign first. Well, he not trying to hear what she's saying, so he walked to his door and opened it up for her to get on up out of there. She said she don't need his approval. It's going to happen. I said, okay. Back over at Tasha and Basie's house, she trying to play Susie Homemaker, and Basie not feeling it because he want to know what happened between her and Jacob. She's saying nothing. He said, yeah, something happened. And to think I'm out here risking my life, staying away from you, not letting you know I'm staying away from you so that you will remain safe. And every night I'm sitting up asking God, just let you come to me in my dreams because I'm missing you so bad. And you out here all alone and moved on with the good Jacob Greenleaf. She said, Basie, I thought you was dead. He said, and yeah, you moved on fast. I know in time you'd probably do it, but damn, I ain't been gone but a minute and you here with Jacob. She tried to convince him. Nothing happened, and he said he no longer trusts her and don't know if he ever will be able to trust her ass again. He pulled back as she was about to try to touch his face like she had a disease. He kind of looked like he was turning into a whole new nigga when I get ready to, lay hands on her, and I ain't talking about in the biblical sense, okay? Later on, Rochelle calls Basie saying that Grace is on to her and asking questions. He told her to calm down. As long as Tasha and her did exactly what he said, they good. He don't give a damn about the Greenleafs because they gonna take the whole family down, grandkids and all. Tasha is overhearing all this. She gonna get on the phone with Jacob and tell him that she's scared and that she needs to meet up with him, and he telling her, okay, just, let me know where, and so they gonna hook up. She want to meet up with him and talk because she's scared. So, girl, she hang up, and when she hang up, she's still watching Basie as he's on the phone. He hang up with her, Jacob does, and Carissa said, you care about her. He said, I don't give a damn. I care about this church and protecting me and my daddy. That's all I care about. And he got up and walked out. Now, she's convinced he still care about this girl. Now, May is in a meeting with Maxine and Corinne, finalizing the details of her event, and the phone rings. She tells Corinne, I'll answer, and she does, and it's Aaron. And she speaks and then goes into this spiel about, let your father know I'm going to call him. And Aaron says, my father passed away. They put him on a new chemo, and his body didn't react well to it, and it started shutting down, and there was nothing they could do. Now, May's stunned to hear this, but says Lionel was a great man to his son. Now, Grace walked in the office as she was on the phone because she had heard her mom was looking for her. So she get off the phone with Aaron, and she asked Grace, what is it? She said, I thought you wanted to see me. She said, yeah, I wanted to apologize for snapping on you earlier. I was upset and that was wrong. Grace looking at her like, okay. This why you call me in here? She said yes. Grace accepts the apology and leaves, but she a bit baffled because she would have expected her mama to want something more than that. I mean, an apology. You called me. You looking for me for that? In actuality, she was looking for Grace to tell Grace about Lionel, but now Lionel did. She don't feel like she have to. That's what she tell Mavis after Corinne and Grace leaves out of her office. She said he dead. No need. Maxine said, May, you still have to tell her you can't move on with a clean slate, hiding secrets and whatnot. Okay? Now, Grace finds Bishop down in the basement looking through some boxes. She asked him if he can be honest with her. He said, of course. She said, did you sleep with Rochelle and confess your love for her? He said no, and he said it fast, child. Grace said, well, why did she just tell me that? He grabbed his jacket and said, I'm about to go get this here, I'm about to go settle this once and for all. And he leaves. Now, Aaron goes to see Grace. I knew it when he walked to that door what he was finna tell her. He tell her his father died, but he needs to talk to her. And I said, okay, here it comes. Child, they sit down now. She probably thought she was finna give him some Christian counseling, but he about to put something in your life that's gonna shake your whole atmosphere up for a minute, girl. He about to sink your mama's battleship. Now, we gonna leave him right there because they gotta talk about it. Let's go back to Atlanta with Zora Ed. She at the house in the bed sleep. Isaiah sleep. She's looking at her phone because people been sending her pics of Isaiah in this check. And his hands all over this girl. So my question now becomes, what you gonna do now, Miss Grown Ass, Miss Hot Puss, Miss I don't need nobody but my man? What you gonna do? Because clearly he playing you like a fiddle girl. What you gonna do? Go home to your parents is what you need to do. Now, Jacob at the meetup place that he's supposed to meet up with Tasha at, but Basie walks up and greets him. Then Jacob asks about Tasha. So then Basie say, what about Carissa? How Carissa doing since we asked him about wives? Basie want to know what happened between him and his wife. That's the question he wants. Jacob was hesitating, so Basie said, I need to know because if I go home believing the worst gonna happen. Jacob said, look, nothing happened, Basie. It was just a kiss. It was nothing. Basie said, well, thank you, brother, because that's more than she gave me. Jacob said it really ain't nothing. Basie told him, one man's nothing is another man's everything. Jacob said he's not trying to push up on Tasha. It was really nothing. And Basie said it may have been nothing to you, but it's more to her. He said, look, don't bother texting my wife no more because I got a phone. He showed it to him and he walked off. Bishop goes to see Rochelle, who was on the phone just minutes before he arrived, talking about she finna be leaving the country, so this hoe finna run. He comes in and I'm sorry, James, I haven't been able to get back to you all day. It's been a crazy day. He asked her if she told Grace they had sex and professed their love for one another. She said, well, yeah, it kind of came up in conversation. I wasn't trying to tell. He said, well, it's a lie. It never happened. Child, here again, she had me almost convinced that she was right and he was wrong, child. For real. She was like, James, are you okay? Are you kidding me? Is this some kind of game I need to go along with? Were you drunk? You don't remember? He said, did nothing happen? It wasn't nothing for me to remember. She said, what's going on? We did. And then you said he said, we did do something. Well, she said they did do something. Then he said, no, we didn't. And you were the one that invested this money for me. Again, she playing, I don't know what you're talking about. I didn't invest no money for you. What's going on here? And we did spend the night together. She tried to make him look like he was losing his mind, like he was delusional in a sense and not doing well in his memory because she acting like she slept with him and that she never touched any of his financial stuff. He asked her, he said, are you Daryl James' daughter? She said, yes. He said, you think I killed your father? She said, no. My daddy, yes, he did die at your church that you couldn't afford to keep up, but, through that fire. But if I thought you had killed my father, do you think I could have ever been in love with you? He looked at her, and at that moment, he knew what he was dealing with. He said, you played me. You got me. But you won't get away with it. And he walked out, and baby, she said, but bitch, I already did. I said, come through, Evelyn. Girl, Lady Mae is down to the church in the sanctuary overlooking her slideshow that'll play during her event. And Grace sneaks up on her and scared the shit out of her. Grace said, Mama, the pictures look great. She said, thank you. And she ready to go. And Grace said, Aaron came to see me, Mama. And they stopped and said, he did. She said, he told me his dad died. She said, yes, I know. It's funny how things we make such a big fuss over are important to us in that moment. Then death comes and we realize it's not such a big deal after all. And she went to walk away and Grace said, it's light on my father. Stopped me dead in her tracks. She turned around and looked at her and said, I don't know. And then she walked away. I said, bitch, you just gonna walk? Leaving Grace standing there in tears looking at the logo of her mom's event. She changes everything. And it goes off. And next week, I think she gonna really change everything. Because she gonna show up at that event with Aaron Child. It's finna get good these last couple episodes. I am here for it. But... Damn, it's cold out here. Anyway, it done been 31 minutes, child. I've been talking to y'all. I ain't gonna hold y'all much longer on this here. That was all of last night's episode of Greenleaf. Get down in the comment section, please, and let me know your thoughts and opinions on last night's episode. What you see happening in the future, child. Let's discuss down there. Y'all remember the depth of your struggle will determine the height of your success. In the meantime, in between time, please remember to rate the video, comment. I like conversation. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed to the channel. I ain't always in Spreaker. I do get on camera. And if you share videos, feel free to share this audio. I have no problem with it. We will be doing Fuck Shit Friday tomorrow evening. If it don't run to 12 o'clock. If it run to 12 o'clock tomorrow night, then it'll be a shit talking Saturday. Still gonna come up. So, with that being said, what I'm saying is, I see some of y'all have been sending me stories and things you want to talk about. You still have time to do that. You got until about 3 o'clock tomorrow evening to send me whatever it is you want me to talk about. Because I will be recording tomorrow after 5 p.m. So, you still got time. If you want to talk about it, get the message to me so I can compile all my stuff and be able to get on camera and talk shit and swallow spit with y'all. That's what we're going to do. I will see you guys tomorrow. Have a great remainder to your Thursday. Peace.